I'm Phil Wood, and I'm the founder of the Fourth World Congress of Psychogeography, which is an annual 3-day event that takes place in Huddersfield. Psychogeography is a movable feast, but I guess at the centre of it, it's about how we as individuals interact with the places around us and how they affect our state of mind.
What link does psychogeography have with mental health?
It doesn't set out to offer anything, any specific therapy, but I think if you look back over history, there's been periods when psychogeography's become an interest, and I think that's often when there's been a big change in the way we live together, particularly in urban spaces. I think throughout history we've always, in order to feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, find shelter, we need to impose systems and rules and regulations on ourselves. And there's obvious reasons why we need to do that, but it also imposes a lot of pressure on us, that kind of regularity and routine. A lot of us have a fairly low threshold tolerance for that. And so you can see regularly throughout history people respond to it. Some people can respond quite negatively, and that can translate into issues of mental well-being. And people respond against it in various ways. My take on psychogeography is it's about bringing some magic, or I'd use the word enchantment, into the mundane parts of life. And as human beings, we've always been looking for enchantment. Whether it's earth magic or organised religion, or now capitalism, and shopping, retail experience. Or our need for festivals and celebrations. It's all about needing that kind of magic, that element of surprise. But so often, and obviously we can see that now in our cities, it becomes a spectacle and it becomes a kind of exploitation. So I think the kind of subversive side of psychogeography is to say, why can't we just create some magic, some enchantment in our daily lives without having to monetize it and turn it into some massive, enormous consuming event? Why can't we just do it in our daily commute to work or to go and visit our relatives, or just walking from A to B? So much of what we do is about very, very simple things, about how can I make a walk that I've done 1,000 times feel like a walk I've never done in my life before, by becoming aware, by noticing things, by just making a special effort to say, today I'm going to notice inspection covers in the road, and actually realise how amazing a lot of them are, the design of them. Or looking up at first floor windows, which we don't often do. Or taking a slightly different route by saying, I'm going to follow the next person with a dog, and I'm going to follow them wherever they go until I see someone else with a dog. Or I'm going to shake a dice and take the left or right, depending on what number the dice throws up. There's all kinds of ways of just subverting yourself. And that can completely change your perspective.
Would you like to talk about the slow rush hour commute performance?
Yeah. What we do is we have people who come from all over Britain and all over the world. In fact, it's amazing, really, that people will come at their own expense to Huddersfield to come and put an event on. And so, we had one guy who wanted to organise a slow commute at rush hour. So as the crowds were massing in and out of Huddersfield railway station, he gathered a group of us and said, we're going to move as slowly as we possibly can, without actually, causing a public danger or nuisance. We're going to be part of this crowd, but we're going to be moving at a completely different pace for completely different reasons from these people, and just see what happens. For the people who took part in it, I think it was an amazing experience, because they all have their experience of being part of that crowd, dashing from A to B. So they were saying how liberating it was to be in that crowd, to understand how that crowd was thinking at that time, like a shoal of fish or a flock of murmurating starlings, but they were in it but not of it, in a way, and they were observing, a different side of that crowd. And I suppose the next time they're in a crowd like that, it might make them feel slightly more self-aware. Now, what are the mental health, mental well-being aspects of that? I just think it's one aspect of being aware, and of finding meaning in things that can seem meaningless. And I suppose if there's one thing about we as humans, we need meaning. We need stories. We need to be told things. We need to tell ourselves. And I guess often, if you feel yourself that you're just part of a shoal of fish, that you have got no agency at all, you're just swept from, by whatever that you've got no control over, that can erode your sense of meaning, year on year. Now, again, some people can tolerate very high tolerance levels for that, and indeed feel very secure being part of the shoal of fish. Obviously, others are free swimmers and end up as artists or whatever. But the majority don't, and they need things. And as I've said, we've often turned to things like organised religion or shopping or whatever to give us that meaning. I just feel at the moment increasing numbers of people are seeing there's a hollowness in that, and we only have to look around our town centres to see that as well. That people aren't finding the meaning that they were told they would find in that kind of retail experience. And yet we still need to be together, even if we're buying more online, we still need physically to be together. We still need town centres. So I guess a lot of what we're doing now is finding other reasons for being together physically in the same space, and ways of finding, commonality and enchantment in that.
And you just recently published a book which has a chapter on psychogeography and psychotherapy. Would you like to talk a bit about that, please?
Well, the whole book is written by a psychotherapist called Chris Rose. It's called Psychotherapy and Psychogeography, and she asked me to write a chapter really about what it is I do, what I've done professionally for 30, 40 years, but what we do in our festival as well. And I guess where I come from that is that I've got no professional qualifications or claim to have anything useful or to offer people in psychology or psychiatry at all. And therefore I'd never claim that anything that we do in psychogeography is therapeutic or is any way useful. And I know a lot of people involved in psychogeography would very much run away from the sense of it being useful. Its uselessness is actually its attraction to many people. Nevertheless, it is quite clear that the kinds of things that we do, the kinds of states of mind that you can slip into once you start doing this kind of thing and start thinking with a certain purpose and start looking and paying attention and noticing and building up patterns of recognition and understanding, that can start to turn a world that seems bland at best, or perhaps confusing or indeed threatening. It can turn that kind of world into one that you start to feel, oh, now I understand why that happens and why I get that feeling when I walk down that street. And hopefully it's not kind of cure, but at least it's hopefully it's giving people a certain set of thought processes and tools to help them feel that they can take control where they feel that they may have lost it.